Welcome to the next session on types of computer networks. Personal computers are powerful tools that can process and manipulate large quantities of data quickly, but they do not allow users to share the data efficiently. However, when two computers are linked together using a cable, they can share data. A computer network is a collection of two or more computers and other hardware devices interconnected by communication channels to share information and resources. Networking is a term that describes the processes involved in designing, implementing, upgrading, managing, and otherwise working with networks and network technologies. When computer networks were first introduced in the late 1970s, most personal computers were stand-alone devices. Computer networks are now one of the primary ways in which we communicate with each other. Computer networks are created to support many different sorts of services, such as World Wide Web, email, instant messaging, video conferencing, etc. In order to exchange files and messages through a network, all the computers connected to that network must use the same set of rules or protocols. Networks may be classified according to a wide variety of characteristics, such as the medium used to transport the data, communication protocol used, scale, topology, organizational scope, etc. Advantages and disadvantages of computer networks. The ability to exchange data and communicate efficiently is the main purpose of networking computers. There is a wide variety of networks, and their advantages and disadvantages mainly depend on the type of network. The following are some of the advantages of computer networks. The ability to share files, data, and information. The major advantage of a computer network is that it allows file sharing and remote file access. If files are stored on a server and all of its clients share that storage capacity, then it becomes easier to make a file available to multiple users. This is beneficial for large organizations to maintain their data in an organized manner and facilitate access for desired people. Resource sharing. Resource sharing is another important benefit of a computer network. For example, a printer can be shared among the users in a computer network. This will significantly reduce the cost of purchasing hardware. Users can also share software within the network easily. Networkable versions of software are available at considerable savings compared to individually licensed version of the same software. Increased storage capacity. Since there is more than one computer on a network which can easily share files, the issue of storage capacity gets resolved to a large extent. Easy communication and speed. It is very easy to communicate through a network using email, instant messaging, video conferencing, chat rooms, etc. Sharing and transferring files within networks is very rapid, depending on the type of network. Following are some of the major disadvantages of computer networks. Security concerns. One of the major drawbacks of computer networks is the security issues that are involved. If a computer is a standalone computer, physical access becomes necessary for any kind of data theft. However, if a computer is on a network, a hacker can get unauthorized access by using different tools. Virus and malware. If even one computer on a network gets affected by a virus, there is a possible threat for the other systems getting affected too. Moreover, multiple systems with common resources are the perfect breeding ground for viruses that multiply. Similarly, if malware gets accidentally installed on the central server, all clients in the network that are connected to that server will get affected automatically. The need of a network administrator. The technical skills and know-how required to operate and administer a computer network is considerably high. Similarly, network connection and configuration is also a tedious task and cannot be done by an average user who does not have advanced knowledge of computers and networking. Breakdowns and possible loss of resources. One major disadvantage of networking is the breakdown of the whole network due to an issue of the server. Therefore, once established, it is vital to maintain it properly to prevent such disastrous breakdowns. The worst scenario is such breakdowns may lead to loss of important data of the server. Expensive to build. Building a network is a serious business in many occasions, especially for large-scale organizations. Cables and other hardware are very expensive to buy and replace. Bandwidth issues. In a network, there are users who consume a lot more bandwidth than others. Because of this, some other people may experience difficulties. Client-server network. A computer network in which one centralized powerful computer or server is a hub to which many less powerful personal computers or workstations are connected. The clients run programs and access data that are stored on the server. The server manages shared resources, hardware as well as software and data. It is usually a powerful computer with large RAM and secondary storage capacity. In a client-server environment, each computer still holds its resources and files. Other computers can also access the resources stored in a computer. One of the particularities of a client-server network is that the files and resources are centralized. This means that the server can hold the files and resources and other computers can access them. Since the server is always on, the client machines can access the files and resources without caring whether a certain computer is on. An advantage of a client-server network is that security is created, managed, and can get enforced. To access the network, a person called a user must provide some credentials such as a username and a password. If the credentials are not valid, the user is prevented from accessing the network. The client-server type of network also provides many other advantages such as centralized backup, intranet capability, internet monitoring, etc. In a small network, all these services can be handled by one server. One of the consequences of a client-server network is that if the server is turned off, its resources and sometimes most of the resources on the network are not available. In fact, one way to set up a client-server network is to have more than one server. In this case, each server can play a different role. Peer-to-peer network, P2P. A peer-to-peer network is a network that does not have a central computer or dedicated server. In other words, all computers are independent. A P2P network is formed of personal computers, each of which act as both client and server, so that each can exchange files and communicate directly with every other computer on the network. Files can be shared directly between systems on the network without the need of a central server. In other words, each computer on a P2P network becomes a file server as well as a client. Peer-to-peer networks are less expensive than client-server networks, but less efficient when large amounts of data need to be exchanged. Peer-to-peer is an alternative network model to that provided by traditional client-server architecture. The peer can initiate requests to other peers and at the same time respond to incoming requests from other peers on the network. It differs from the traditional client-server model, where a client can only send requests to a server and then wait for the server's response. In a peer-to-peer LAN, every computer is equal in status and functioning. All the computers on the network are capable of communicating independently with any other computer on the network without using a server. Thus, any computer on the network can access data and programs stored on any other computer. The upper limit of the number of nodes that can function as both clients and servers on a peer-to-peer network is between 10 and 25. If there are more nodes, then a peer-to-peer machine can be used as a dedicated server with additional high-performance hardware. P2P networks have been designed primarily for small to medium local area networks. Types of computer networks. A network can be as few as several personal computers on a small network or as large as the Internet, a worldwide network of computers. The network can be classified into the following categories according to geographical space. Local Area Network or LAN, Metropolitan Area Networking or MAN, Wide Area Network or WAN, Virtual Private Network VPN, Personal Area Network PAN, Wireless Network. Local Area Network or LAN. In local area network, two or more computers are directly linked within a small, well-defined area such as a room, building or a campus. Most LANs connect workstations and personal computers. Each workstation in a LAN has its own CPU with which it executes programs, but it is also able to access data and devices anywhere on the LAN. This means that many users can share expensive devices such as laser printers as well as data. Users can also use the LAN to communicate with each other by sending email or engaging in chat sessions. LANs are capable of transmitting data at very fast rates, much faster than data can be transmitted over a telephone line. But the distances are limited, and there is also a limit on the number of computers that can be attached to a single LAN. The main benefit of a LAN is the reduction of hardware and software costs because users can share several computers, peripheral devices and software. The idea of developing LAN is to utilize the fast data transfer over a small geographical area. It must get the data to its destination, transmit the data correctly and prevent unauthorized users from getting access to that data. The length of the cable connecting the computer through a LAN also varies. Most of the LAN permits cables of about 1,000 feet, but some permit cables of several miles to be used. The speed of data transfer ranges from several thousand bits per second to 10 million bits per second. LAN network is preferred due to its fast access and affordability. LAN enables to store data in any central computer from where it can be shared throughout the organization. User files can be accessed from many different workstations. The risk of data loss is reduced due to the effective physical backup system. Restricted LAN PCs offer enough security to the data because only authentic users can share and access data. Characteristics of LAN. The various characteristics of LAN can be discussed briefly as follows. It links multiple computers together. In a LAN, computers are spread over a small geographical area ranging from a few meters to a few kilometers. It avoids degradation of performance. In a LAN, communication channels are usually privately owned, hence not regulated by telecommunication departments, and are of a relatively high capacity and is error-free. It also helps to implement online applications at high speed. Metropolitan Area Network. A MAN is a network that interconnects users with computer resources in a geographic area or region larger than that covered by even a large local area network, but smaller than the area covered by a wide area network, WAN. The term is applied to the interconnections of networks in a city into a single larger network. As the name suggests, this sort of network is usually reserved for metropolitan area where the city bridges its local area networks with a series of backbones, making one large network for the entire city. It may be a single network or a means of interconnection of several local area networks by bridging them with backbone lines. MAN may be operated by one organization, a corporate with several offices in one city, or be shared resources used by several organizations in the same city. Different hardware and transmission media are often used in MANs because they must efficiently cover these distances, or because they don't require complex access to location between the network sites. Wide Area Network, WAN. A wide area network spans a large geographic area such as a state, province or country, or even the whole world. WANs often connect multiple smaller networks such as local area networks or metropolitan area networks. WANs generally utilize different and much more expensive networking equipments than do LANs. One of the most significant aspects of a wide area network, while comparing it with the freedom of local area network, is the involvement of a public telecommunication authority. WAN is usually limited to use by the large organizations and government agencies due to high costs involved in building and maintaining them. A WAN consists of a number of interconnected switching nodes. A transmission from any one device is routed through these internal nodes to the specified destination device. The application of WAN is not limited to a room, building or specific vicinity. The basic purpose of WAN is to maintain a number of LAN networks in order to increase the efficiency of the network. Different LAN networks are connected to establish a network which will enable the users of one location to communicate with the users present in the other location. Internet service providers usually help and guide to establish WAN networks. However, many large organizations develop their own private WANs. A WAN can be established using leased lines, circuit switch network, packet switching, frame or packet relay, and cell relay. Packet switching is one of the most common types of establishing a WAN network. In a packet switching method, a digital network is established. In this method, suitable data blocks are created. These data blocks are known as packets. The data travels in the form of varied bit rate. These bits travel in the form of sequences of packets over the network, and their delay is dependent upon the load of traffic over the network. Leased lines are the other most suitable and quick way to establish a WAN. However, leased lines are usually not preferred due to their expensive nature. Leased lines help establish a symmetric connection from one point to the other. Usually, this involves an amalgamation of two LANs. Virtual Private Network (VPN). A virtual private network is a network technology that creates a secure network connection over a public network such as the Internet or a private network owned by a service provider. Large corporations, educational institutions, and government agencies use VPN technology to enable remote users to securely connect to a private network. A VPN can connect multiple sites over a large distance, just like a wide area network. VPNs are often used to extend intranets worldwide to disseminate information and news to a wider user base. Educational institutions use VPNs to connect campuses that can be distributed across the country or around the world. In order to gain access to the private network, a user must be authenticated using a unique identification and a password. An authentication token is often used to gain access to a private network through a personal identification number (PIN) that a user must enter. Personal Area Network or PAN. Personal Area Network is a computer network used for communication among computer devices close to one person. Some examples of devices that are used in a PAN are printers, fax machines, telephones, PDAs, and scanners. The reach of a PAN is typically about 20 to 30 feet, that is approximately 6 to 9 meters. But this is expected to increase with technology improvements. A wireless PAN consists of a dynamic group of less than 255 devices that communicate within about a 33-foot range. Unlike wireless LANs, only devices within this limited area typically participate in the network, and no online connection with external devices is defined. Wireless network. A wireless network refers to any type of computer network that is wireless. This method is largely used to avoid the costly process of using cables for networking. Wireless networking is a more modern alternative to wired networking that relies on copper and fiber optic cabling between network devices. Wireless networks utilize radio waves or microwaves to maintain communication channels between computers. Wireless is rapidly gaining in popularity for networking. Wireless technology continues to improve, and the cost of wireless products continues to decrease. A wireless network offers advantages and disadvantages compared to a wired network. Advantages of wireless include mobility and elimination of cables. Disadvantages of wireless network include the potential for radio interference due to weather, other wireless devices, or obstructions like walls. Performance of wireless networking varies from place to place due to geographic locations and ranges. Today, wireless networks help save the cost of cables, save time from manual installation, and also creates mobility for devices connected to the network around the globe, and hence is very popular and widely accepted everywhere. Now let us conclude. A network is simply a collection of computers or other hardware devices that are connected together either physically or logically using special hardware and software. to allow them to exchange information and cooperate. Computer networks can be used for numerous services. Typically, they follow the client-server model. Computer networks and protocols have forever changed the way humans will work, play, and communicate. People need to access the internet, communicate, and share information, and they can't live without that. Networks can be divided up into LANs, MANs, WANs, PAN, etc. with their own characteristic technologies, speeds, and niches. LANs cover a building and operate at high speeds. MANs cover a city, for example, the cable television system, which is now used by many people to access the internet. WANs cover a country or a continent. Before we attend the next unit, please try to answer the following questions. What is a computer network? What are the disadvantages and advantages of computer networks? What are the different types of computer networks? Distinguish between a client-server network with a peer-to-peer network. What is WAN? How is a WAN formed? Some of the references that you can use: Computer Networking Illuminated by Barrett, Diane and King Todd, published by Viva Books from New Delhi. Computer Networks, Protocols, Standards and Interfaces by Black, Uyless, published by PHI Learning Private Limited from New Delhi. Thank you for your participation in this session. We hope that you will be with us for the next session as well.